So are listing photos misleading? Somebody left an interesting couple of comments on one of our TikTok videos recently, and I want to talk about it. So if we haven't met yet, my name's Stephanie.
And I'm Bryce.
And we are the Lugos Realtors at My Home Group Real Estate serving the greater Phoenix area. So Bryce, we spend a lot of time on social media. And recently, I've gotten all in on TikTok, which is a lot of fun because I love creating content and interacting with, other people who might be interested in real estate too. And I shared this awesome video that shared like the before and afters of iPhone photos of this beautiful listing that coincidentally we just took live this week, and the professional photos as compared to that.
Yeah, I took the photos when I was at the property just so that we could simply look back on them.
Internal uses only.
Yeah, just to see what they would look like. It's like, you're walking through, snap, okay, This is the kitchen. So I can, again, look back at them.
Right. But we've all seen the MLS listings where agents take those photos and like just straight up list those as the photos. Somebody commented on that. There were a couple of comments that said, but that's misleading. Yeah. I want to talk about why it's not and kind of just offer some perspective that you might find appreciative if you are watching this video. So why don't we start by talking about why we do professional listing photos?
Well, for us, it helps enhance the property that you're showcasing. Mm-hmm. So you're going to get the right light, right? You're going to get the right angle. You're not going to necessarily want to like fisheye like the space, but you've got a wider angle lens that kind of captures more of the area.
Yeah. And it's important because you have to have that perspective that you can't really get like on an iPhone. And maybe you can.
I mean, you probably could with the iPhone.
But I don't know the first thing about photography. No, so even if you could.
Yeah, I mean, the photos that we're talking about, I took them with my iPhone. But obviously our photographer comes in and he can just enhance that space. He's not falsifying what we're seeing.
Because I will say, when we walked that property in person, it looked every bit as beautiful as the photos. It looks
as good as the photos do.
Yeah.
He's just capturing it and showing it so that our buyers or the buyers that are out there can actually see what the property looks like.
Yeah.
That somebody else left a comment on your thing, and I thought that this was funny, but I don't know if this makes sense. But they said if you're going to use a filter for your face, why wouldn't you use a filter for your house? Or something like that. Let
me just say this, Bryce. I have 3 products on my eyebrows alone right now.
Yeah,
so filters are one thing, but let's take it a step back. Like, I like to enhance my beauty with subtle cosmetics. Yeah. And so it's all the same to me, really. But I like that perspective.
I mean, I don't think that you're falsifying what the property is. You're definitely just showing what the property looks like. Yeah. You're giving more. The light does matter. It helps you see things. If you take it without brightening up that space, you're not going to see it all.
Right.
Our photographer does natural light photography, so we don't even have lights on inside the house. He shoots it, blinds are open, capturing the natural light, and he just kind of brightens the space.
Yeah, it's really interesting
it lets you see more.
It does. It's really interesting how when you're walking through and he's doing photos, all the house lights are off because he's just going to make sure that he's capturing it as naturally as possible, and then maybe just correcting the exposure in post editing.
Yeah, after you posted that video, I had several agents reach out to us directly to get the contact info for our photographer, just because he does make sure that the property space looks beautiful.
Yeah, I agree. So that's our perspective on it. But I also want to share another thought about this too. So there's a couple of things that have happened in the real estate industry along with the sweeping changes to life that the pandemic brought, right? So even prior to the pandemic, 95% of buyers were beginning their home search online. And it's a very competitive space. And even in this market where we have very low inventory, we actually mentioned in this market update video that while yes, active inventory is very low, there are actually like record numbers of home sales happening over the last couple of years. There's a lot of sales volume happening. And so this is still a very competitive market, not just because of the scarcity of homes, but because there are so many homes that you're competing against, they just happen to sell really quickly. And so when that's the case, when there are so many other properties to compete against, you do have to stand out from the crowd a little bit. And part of the job of a real estate agent is to go in there and give our sellers the tools to professionally market their their space so that they can capitalize on their investment. That is a very large part of the value of having a real estate agent, is being able to direct that type of marketing. And so the other part of this as well, when the pandemic was happening, another big change that has happened along with this is some buyers are even buying their homes sight unseen. Now, part of this is just a function of them relocating. So we have massive amounts of people relocating to the Phoenix area. And we had several buyers last year buy their home basically sight unseen, or at least to write offers and get them accepted sight unseen.
Some fully wrote and closed and moved in when they, saw the house when they moved here.
Yeah. And so being able to have very well-scaled pictures that actually encompass what the property is all about is really critical for them to be able to do that. Now, obviously, we take it a step further. We go and do a FaceTime showing for them, send them videos to back it up. Yep. And I just think that that's an important thing to remember, that for some people, this is the only exposure they get to that property because for whatever reason, they can't make it to their new location before they start their jobs to see that home.
With this exact property that we're talking about that you did this video on, we opened up showings this morning and listed it just late last night, opened up showings this morning, and my phone is just going crazy with all the people that have seen it, telling me how beautiful the space is and how it matches as good as we presented it.
Yeah.
So it's not like anything was misled.
Yeah.
Everybody's seeing the house and falling in love with it and telling us that it was captured so well. And, so I mean, that just goes to show that the photos, they help you convey what you're trying to provide to people.
Yeah. And I will say too, there are tons of times where agents get this wrong and they bring in a professional photographer who doesn't do this well, or they do skew what the home actually looks like. And if that's the case, that's why you have an agent with you to either, if you can't see it in person, do that video tour on your behalf and send it to you, or go look at the property. And if it doesn't match up, you don't write an offer. Yeah. It's at the end of the day, the buyer, the public gets to make the decision on how they respond to that. And so I think that if we're talking specifically about misleading, I don't think that this is misleading. I think that you can enhance a property and you can market it well. I think misleading is when you go and say, we've renovated the home down to the studs, when really all you did was like painted a bedroom. So I hope that this perspective helped give you something to think about as you are maybe looking at homes on the internet, or if you are getting serious about your home search. And if you are getting serious about a home search in 2022, or if you are thinking about selling your home and you want it marketed to the best of its potential, let's talk. There are details and links to book a time with us over a phone call in the show notes. We can hop on a quick call and we would love to hear your story and see how we can help.
Until next time, thank you for tuning in.
Bye.
Bye.